Hey, you're tuned in to the Hustle Report by Profit Duel. Today, we're taking a really interesting look at something you might already be doing every single day, actually. Scrolling through social media. We're going to unpack how that very habit, yeah, just scrolling, can become a surprisingly productive and genuinely lucrative side hustle. Social media management. It's really about taking that digital savviness you probably already have and turning it into a real asset.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because so many people just see social media as, a time sink, maybe something passive. But the insights we've pulled together show there's a clear path. You can transform that seemingly passive habit into an active, valuable skill set that businesses really need.
Yeah.
This isn't just about like personal fun. It's about leveraging that fluency you have in a market that is constantly looking for authentic online connection.
Absolutely. And our mission with this deep dive is to give you a quick but really thorough understanding for your own entrepreneurial journey. We'll cover exactly how social media management works, in practice. We'll explore the benefits, the real drawbacks too, what you can realistically expect to earn, and maybe most importantly, the actual steps you can take to get started. We're basically distilling those key nuggets of knowledge for you.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. If we're talking about turning everyday scrolling into actual income, we probably first need to define what social media management is, beyond just, hitting post. For someone who's maybe heard the term but isn't quite sure of the nuts and bolts, how does it actually function?
Yeah, good question. So, at its core, social media management involves taking strategic command of a company's social media accounts. The goal isn't just visibility, like getting seen. It's about nurturing an engaged audience and building a really vibrant online community that connects with the brand. Think of it less like just broadcasting messages out and more like, well, community building, but with a commercial purpose behind it. That makes sense. So it's a lot more strategic than maybe people assume. What are the actual day-to-day responsibilities then? What would someone actually be doing if they took on this role?
Oh, it's definitely multifaceted. Um, on any given day, you could be diving into content creation. And that isn't just writing captions, right?
Yeah.
It's understanding the brand's voice, crafting engaging visuals, maybe even producing short-form video, like Reels or TikToks.
Okay.
Then there's scheduling posts for optimal reach. That means you're not just posting whenever you feel like it. You're using data, looking at when the audience is actually online and most active.
Ah, okay. Data-driven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a huge part is responding to comments and fostering interaction. This is where that community aspect really comes alive. You're turning followers into, hopefully, advocates for the brand.
So it's not just pushing content out, it's very much about listening and reacting too.
Precisely. Yeah, that's crucial. And beyond that, it involves pretty rigorous analysis of performance metrics. We're not just talking about counting likes here. We're diving into things like engagement rates.
Which is a better measure, right?
Absolutely. It shows true interaction relative to your audience size.
Yeah.
Also looking at reach versus impressions to understand visibility properly and even conversion rates, if you're trying to drive traffic somewhere, like a website.
Got it.
And finally, based on all that data, you're constantly implementing strategies to refine and improve the overall social media presence. It's like a continuous loop. Create, engage, analyze, refine, repeat. It's quite dynamic.
That dynamic aspect sounds like it could be both challenging but also really rewarding. And that brings us to the part that I think really hooks people. Why choose this specific path? What are the big advantages, the tangible upsides of diving into social media management as a side hustle?
Yeah, the advantages here are pretty compelling, actually. The first one, and often the most attractive, is just the immense flexibility. You can genuinely manage accounts from, well, anywhere with an internet connection, your home office, a coffee shop, maybe even while you're traveling. This side hustle isn't really tied to a specific location or, rigid 9 to 5 hours. That's a huge draw.
That kind of freedom is pretty rare, isn't it? You're not just earning, you're kind of gaining control over your time and place.
Exactly. And for anyone with that creative spark,
Yeah.
there's just so much room for creativity. If you enjoy crafting compelling little stories or designing eye-catching visuals or even experimenting with new platforms, this role lets you consistently flex those muscles. You're constantly thinking up new ways to grab attention and tell a brand's story effectively.
So it's definitely not just data entry or something boring. There's a strong artistic element that's a powerful mix.
It really is.
Yeah.
And beyond that, it leads to significant skill enhancement. You'll naturally develop really valuable digital marketing skills. Things like content strategy, data analysis, understanding audience psychology, strategic planning. These aren't just useful for social media, right? They're transferable skills across the entire digital economy. It really boosts your overall value. In fact, a lot of people see this as sort of a low-stakes way to master key digital marketing principles. You can test things, analyze data in real time.
Like a sandbox, yeah.
Exactly, like a sandbox. Without the huge budgets or risks you might find in a big corporate marketing department. That rapid feedback loop. It's an amazing accelerator for your digital skills.
So you're not just earning extra cash on the side, you're actually investing in your own professional growth. That's a really smart long-term play.
Precisely. And then there are the networking opportunities, which can be huge. Working with different clients exposes you to all sorts of industries. Maybe niche tech startups one month, a local bakery the next. Each client expands your professional circle, potentially opens doors you didn't even know were there. Think of each project as like a new connection.
That exposure and those connections sound like they could really fuel future opportunities down the line.
Definitely. And finally, I'd say there's often a profound sense of impactful contribution. Your work directly helps businesses connect with their audience, grow their online presence, and ultimately, hopefully, succeed. Seeing a brand thrive, partly because of your efforts, that can be incredibly rewarding. It's not just a side gig. It feels like a role with real influence.
Yeah, imagine the freedom and the skill growth you could achieve just by channeling that daily social media use into something so productive and impactful. It really does sound like a fantastic way to build both your bank account and your sort of personal expertise. Now, okay, every opportunity comes with its challenges, right? It's important to have a balanced view before just diving in. What should someone be really aware of? What are the potential pitfalls or maybe the tougher aspects of this as a side hustle?
That's a crucial question, absolutely. One significant drawback is that it can indeed be very time-consuming. Managing multiple accounts, creating consistent, good quality content, staying on top of engagement. It requires a substantial investment of time. It's definitely not a set it and forget it kind of thing. And it's certainly not just, 5 minutes here and there.
That makes perfect sense. There's a real commitment involved, especially if you want to get actual results for your clients.
And clients often come with high expectations. They anticipate you staying constantly updated. The latest algorithm shifts, platform trends, new features, best practices. The digital landscape is always changing, so continuous learning isn't really optional, it's a necessity. You might find yourself researching new Instagram features, like weekly.
Wow. So you can't just rest on your laurels, rely on what you knew last year. You have to be proactively evolving with the platforms. That sounds like a constant learning curve.
Absolutely. Another challenge is the often unpredictable workload. Like a lot of freelance role, your work can really fluctuate. You'll likely have intense periods, maybe around client product launches or big marketing campaigns demanding more effort, tighter deadlines. Then other times it might be slower. And that, of course, can impact having a consistent income stream.
That ebb and flow could be tough to manage, especially if someone is looking for something really steady and predictable. How do you even prepare for that?
Well, it's partly about building a good pipeline of clients, if you can, and managing your own time really effectively, budgeting for those slower times. And then there's the whole aspect of handling criticism. You will inevitably encounter negative comments or feedback. That could be from clients or just from the public engaging with the brand online.
Oh, yeah.
This requires, frankly, a bit of a thick skin, professionalism, and the ability to turn negative feedback into something constructive, if possible. The internet can be, well, direct.
That's definitely something to mentally prepare for. It's just part of being public-facing online, I suppose.
Indeed. And finally, there's an inherent client dependence. Your income is directly tied to your client base. That can feel unstable, especially in a competitive freelance market. Losing even one client could significantly impact your earnings. So you need to be constantly nurturing those relationships and also looking for new opportunities. But knowing these drawbacks upfront helps you prepare, set realistic expectations, and build resilience.
Okay, good points. Now let's talk numbers. For many people listening, this is the big one, the burning question. What can someone realistically expect to earn with social media management as a side hustle? Let's get into the money side.
Right. The earning potential is actually quite broad. It's really influenced by your experience level, how many clients you take on, maybe the specific niche you work in. But to give you some concrete figures, someone who's just starting out, sort of entry level, might expect to earn somewhere around, say, $15 to $25 per hour.
Okay, that's a pretty solid starting point for flexible work you can do from almost anywhere.
Absolutely. But here's the encouraging part. As you gain more experience, as you build up a strong portfolio that really showcases successful campaigns, and as you develop more specialized skills, those numbers can climb significantly. Experienced managers can comfortably charge anywhere from, let's say, $30 up to $75 per hour, sometimes even more for high-value clients or really complex strategic work.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty impressive jump. That really shows the potential for growth here if you stick with it and build your skills.
It truly does.
Yeah.
And it's also important to note that earnings aren't always just strictly hourly. Many social media managers actually opt for project-based pricing. So they'll quote a flat fee for a specific campaign or a set of deliverables. Or perhaps even better for stability, they might work on monthly retainer fees. This offers a much more consistent and predictable income stream.
Ah, retainers. Yeah.
Those pricing models, project-based or retainers, often lead to higher overall earnings and just greater financial stability compared to pure hourly billing.
So whether you're just aiming for, a few extra bucks to hit a savings goal, or maybe you're looking to build a more substantial additional income stream to fuel bigger financial ambitions, it sounds like social media management clearly has the potential to help you get there.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly compelling. So for someone listening who's thinking, all right, I'm ready, I want to take the plunge, how do you actually turn that scrolling habit into this side hustle? What does it all mean in practical terms? How do you get started? What are those first steps? Right, the practical stuff. The first and probably most foundational step is skill development. And the good news is you don't necessarily need a fancy degree to start. There are countless online courses, tons of free tutorials on places like YouTube, workshops. These can quickly help you hone your abilities in content creation. Graphic design basics, maybe video editing for Reels, plus scheduling tools, analytics interpretation, and critically developing strategy. Focus on the practical application.
That's great to hear. It makes it feel accessible to almost anyone willing to learn. Okay, what's next once you feel you've got some basic skills?
You absolutely need to create a portfolio. This is basically your visual resume, proof of what you can do. You could start by creating some mock social media posts, maybe mini campaigns for different imaginary industries,
Yeah.
like a fitness brand, a local coffee shop, maybe a tech startup.
Okay.
Or even better sometimes, demonstrate your skills by really effectively managing and optimizing your own personal social media accounts. Make them strategic showcases. Clients want to see what you can do, not just read a list of skills.
Right, that portfolio makes it tangible. They can visualize your impact. So once you have that, how do you focus your efforts? It seems like a huge field.
That's where it's smart to choose your niche. Don't try to be everything to everyone, especially at first. Decide which industries or types of businesses you actually enjoy or know something about. Maybe it's health and wellness, or real estate, or local small businesses. Focusing helps you target clients more effectively, and it positions you as more of a go-to expert in that specific area. It helps you stand out and speak their language.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for differentiating yourself in what could be a crowded market. Okay, skills, portfolio, niche. What's the next practical step?
Then you need to set up your online presence, your professional face to the world. This could be a simple professional-looking website highlighting your services, your skills, and of course linking to your portfolio. Or you can leverage powerful professional profiles on platforms like LinkedIn, and also freelance marketplaces like Upwork or Freelancer. These platforms are fantastic starting points for finding those crucial first clients and just showcasing your expertise to a global audience, potentially.
Right, leveraging this existing platform seems like a really efficient way to get visible quickly.
It absolutely is.
Okay.
And critically, don't underestimate the power of networking, even online. Connect with other professionals in whatever niche you've chosen. Participate in online communities related to social media management, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, maybe even attend virtual or local networking events if they seem relevant. Opportunities often come from relationships and referrals. Building that professional network is invaluable.
Building those relationships always pays off, doesn't it? No matter the field. Okay, so what's the final crucial step once you've kind of set the stage?
The final, decisive step is you have to pitch your services. You need to reach out and craft personalized pitches to potential clients. Please, don't just send generic copy-paste templates. Explain precisely how your expertise can directly benefit their specific business. Show them you've done a little homework, you understand their challenges maybe, and you have a tailored idea or solution. This demonstrates real value and conviction and makes you much more likely to get noticed.
Those steps sound incredibly manageable when you break them down like that. And it really feels like a worthwhile journey, turning something you already do into a genuine income stream.
Yeah, absolutely. To sort of synthesize everything we've discussed, venturing into social media management is a side hustle. It really does offer an exciting and potentially very profitable path. You've
Yeah.
got the flexibility, the creative outlet, the valuable skills you acquire, the professional connections you can make. It's definitely worth considering. But success, it requires that blend of dedication, keeping a keen eye on those constantly evolving digital trends, and I think most importantly, a genuine passion for helping businesses thrive online. It's about being strategic, adaptable, and really engaged.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Given how much time many of us already spend scrolling through social media, what if the very screen time you logged last week wasn't just consumption? What if it was actually raw data gathering, maybe unintentional skill development, even market research? For your next big venture, how could your everyday online presence already be the foundation for a truly impactful income-generating side hustle you haven't even fully recognized yet? That's it for today. We'll see you back on the Hustle Report soon.